And I think it's really important that you bring up the investment component of it because if we go back to the sports world or chess or whatnot, I don't think anyone is logically thinking, oh yeah, I can go out and get a world class expert to help guide me and coach me, and they're just going to do it for free forever out of the goodness of their heart. Yet it seems like we have that mentality a lot in the business world, in which it's kind of expected, or the expectation is, well, yeah, I kind of want some coaching and advice and guidance, but like people should just do that out of the goodness of their heart. And sure, I think there's a degree, and I've done that to a point, but it's limited, right? Like I can't sit down and develop a plan and coach you for the next 6 months for free. I have also other things I need to do. How do we change that mentality, or is that perception realistic, or do you see something similar where there's just a lack of desire to pay for something that is incredibly transformative and valuable?
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a concept of fairness, right? So any great product or any great service, in my mind, is a mix of compassion and fairness, like put together. And compassion is why we make the product in the first place and why we want the product to be effective to help a person who is dealing with a challenge, obstacle, problem, goal, whatever. Now, this product is going to help them, or this service is going to help them achieve it. That's an act of compassion. And without fairness, that act of compassion would be free, and it would be donation, it would be charity, or philanthropy. Maybe is a nicer word than charity. And if we add fairness back in, we're just saying, well, the act of compassion becomes fair to both parties if it's not free in some way, right? It can be bartering, it can be dollars, it can be whatever the scenario is, but both parties should be concerned with fairness. And if people are giving you something for free, there's probably some fairness baked into the formula. Maybe that person, kind of like you do or like I do at times, is picking amount of time, a certain number of times per year to make that donation because it's great. Like I love it. I love meeting new people. I love learning that things that people that I am working with over here are in common with other people over here. So it kind of expands the size of the universe and validates a lot of the stuff that we do as a business. And it's just really fun and stimulating to do. But also consider that a lot of the stuff that's really free or inexpensive, your listicles, 10 things to do if you want to get better at so and so, those are not presented to you from the high performance perspective of comprehension and of transcendence. They're presented to you from this lower performance of instructions and solutions. So they can help you understand what to do in certain situations, and that will help you. I mean, there's no doubt about it. But you won't know why it worked, right? You won't have comprehension, and you won't know how to handle situations that are slightly different than the situations that are kind of listed where this instruction or this solution is effective.
Yeah.
And much like the work you do with analytics, there are implementation guides, instructions out there, and there are
Yeah.
solutions that automate various parts of implementation. But what you bring to the table is the ability to deliver that custom suit, not the solution and not the instructions, so that this thing comes from comprehension about your actual needs as opposed to generalizations and doesn't fit anybody that well. So that's just and that's just implementation work. That doesn't even begin to explore the vast array of things you're doing with optimization and experience recommendations and deeper analytics and things like that. So, I mean, it's a really it's a really simple formula. And you know what? Great futures don't belong to cheap people. And
Yeah.
that's, I mean, sorry to be blunt, but if your money is more important than to you, to keep that money is more important than to exchange it for the possibility of a different outcome, then fine. Like just keep your money and stay out of the way of the people who are going to do way better than you. And that's like, I mean, sorry, that's just kind of how it works. And there will be missteps, right? I think a lot of people want to guarantee if I'm going to part with $300 or
Right.
$1,500, how do I know it will work? Well, patterns really help,
Yeah.
right? If it's worked for a lot of other people, or it hasn't worked for a lot of other people, great. Like, you look at a lot of work companies do with culture, and they'll go work with somebody who helped them with mission, vision, values, and be like, mission, vision, values has never helped anybody in the history of the world. So don't invest in something that fails on a 90% basis, right? Invest in things that succeed 90% of the time instead of
Yeah.
fail 90% of the time.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, and it reminds me. I know this sports broadcaster in Salt Lake City, and I think one time I asked him, like, "Dude, why do you always look so fire?" He's like, "Dude, I don't buy anything off the rack. I get everything cause my shirts custom tailored." I'm like, "You look amazing. How'd you know how to do it?" He's like, "Well, everyone I know that looks amazing goes to Taylor Cooperative in Salt Lake City, so I figured they must be good. So they were worth the price to pay." And doesn't that shirt just hit different when it's been custom fit to your size instead of wearing the XL or the large or
Yeah.
the fit all? Yeah, it's worth the investment to look and feel amazing.